Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the 5 most important apps you need as a junior doctor. Let's start the video. Welcome back to the channel guys, and if you're new, great to have you with us. Today I'm going to be talking about the 5 essential apps you need to download as a junior doctor. At the end of the video, I'll also be sharing with you a bonus app that allows you to use the industry-specific knowledge that we all have to help improve your monthly earnings. All of the timestamps are in the description below and should be somewhere in the video now as well, so feel free to jump around to the apps you're most interested in. It's important to note I'm not being paid anything to advertise these apps. Perhaps not surprisingly considering my 72 subscribers. I'm sharing these because these are genuinely the apps I use most in the job and I think the ones you need from day one as a junior doctor. So the first app is the BNF app. Now, we'll all know about the BNF, or the British National Formulary. In the old days, about a decade ago, all doctors would have a BNF textbook on their desk. And basically, if you didn't know the dose of a drug you wanted to give, you'd have to flick through that book to find out what the correct dose was. It was a very time-intensive process. However, now we have the app, which is fantastic. You can quickly look up any drug and find its dose split up to its relevant indications, as well as side effects, interactions, etc. Importantly, this is evergreen information. What I mean by that is it's constantly updating. With the books, you'd have to buy a new book every year to make sure you had the latest information, otherwise you might incorrectly prescribe something. And these books are not cheap. With the app, which is free by the way, you never have to worry about this. Despite this, I still see doctors using the BNF textbooks to look up doses. Please, just get the app. You'll save yourself hours of time. Okay, so next on our list is Microguide. Microguide is the industry standard in the UK for local hospital guidelines on antibiotic prescribing. The BNF has advice on this also, but it's much better to use your local guidelines. This is because the same disease can be caused by multiple different organisms, and depending on where you live, that affects which microbe might be most prevalent in your area, or perhaps there is a strain that shows additional antibiotic resistance. And because of this, your local guidelines on antibiotic prescribing might be different to somewhere else, say. Now the app's design is like most medical apps, a bit crap, but it does get the information across that you need, and the search function is basic, but usually returns the information you need. Microguide have their own content management system, or CMS, which allows the microbiologists to manage the content on the app without having to ask Microguide to upload it themselves. It's a definite must-have as a junior doctor working in hospitals, if not just to stop waking the microbiologist up at 1 AM in the morning. The next app on our list is Induction. So, because in the NHS we like to be technologically 20 years behind the rest of the world, we still use bleeps. I literally have nightmares about that sound. So, a bleep is pretty useless if you don't know what number you need to bleep to get the right person. I mean, bleeps are pretty useless forms of communication anyway, but we make do. This is where the Induction app comes in. The Induction app provides a community-driven system where you can get the bleep numbers for anybody you might need to contact in the hospital. Now, depending on where you are, they might have some more advanced systems such as direct messaging service and hospital guidelines, but that all depends on what the subscription your hospital pays for. But again, seriously a must-have on your first day. Next on your list of essentials is MDCalc, and this is a really essential app to have. MDCalc is a free online medical reference for healthcare professionals that provides point-of-care clinical decision support tools, which includes medical calculators, scoring systems, and algorithms. In medicine, we use risk scoring systems to help risk stratify the possibility somebody has of having or developing a particular disease. And there is a lot of these scoring systems, so far too many for you to remember easily. MDCalc simplifies this by providing you not only the scoring systems, but helpful advice on interpreting the scores. As an ED doctor, I use these all the time to help risk stratify my patients. But these scoring systems are applicable to pretty much any fields of medicine. And unlike a lot of other apps in healthcare, this one actually has a really nice design, which is nice to see because so often we're stuck using information-intensive but poorly thought-out apps. Aesthetic doesn't seem to be taken into account in many healthcare applications, so it's nice to see this as the exception to the rule. Now, if you're a doctor in the UK, you've probably heard of a lot of the other applications I've already spoken about, but you might not have heard of this one. This app was actually suggested to me by one of the ophthalmologists I work with at my hospital. It's often relevant to assess someone's visual acuity in hospital, basically how well they can see. And we do this using something called a Snellen chart. The problem with these is they're kind of the opposite of the room of requirement in Harry Potter. There when you don't need them, nowhere to be seen when you do. However, I don't need to find these anymore because I now use an app called OcularCheck. OcularCheck is like having a Snellen chart in your pocket, and it's absolutely essential, particularly if you're on an emergency department or ophthalmology job. If you're more advanced, it's not just a Snellen chart, it's got all these other visual acuity tests as well. You'll probably never use them, but it's nice to have options. This is a great little app if you regularly need to assess patient security but don't really have a good setup for doing so. So those are my 5 essential apps I think you need to download for day one as a junior doctor. All of the links are down below in the description and they're all free to use. Now, I did promise you a bonus app, which I'm going to talk about now. Now, this is by no means an essential app to download, but it is something I've used quite effectively recently to bump up my monthly earnings by using the industry-specific knowledge that we all have as doctors. But first, before I do, uptake has been amazing on the channel so far. 72 subscribers in a month, you guys are awesome. But 85% of people watching still aren't subscribed. Remember, if you're enjoying the content, remember to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel to make sure you don't miss another video. Okay, so, bonus app time. And the app I've been using is called Sermo. They describe themselves as a virtual doctor's lounge, but effectively, it's a social network of doctors. On Sermo, you can share and discuss patient cases anonymously, as well as start discussions and ask advice. It's quite a nice community, which has managed to avoid being infiltrated by internet trolls. But if that doesn't interest you, how I've been bumping up my paycheck each month is by doing their paid-for surveys, which pay quite well compared to other survey sites. This is because they're paying a premium for that industry knowledge you have, and because Sermo validates your credentials as a doctor, then the researchers know the insights they are getting are valid. I haven't actually withdrawn my earnings from this app yet, but I know others who've been paid in full without any problems. It's a nice way of leveraging your industry-specific knowledge to make a little bit more money on the side. Thanks for watching, guys. Remember to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. And as always, happy deving, and I'll see you in the next video.